Hi, I'm Gary Costanza. I'm back with the magic of the new Atari Mini 400. And I'm so excited about it because we're able to write basic programs, load them and save them, and write our own games, programs, what have you, very simply on this relatively inexpensive Mini 400. It's about $100. I'm so excited about it because it's a blast from the past. I'm an old school programmer from over 40 years ago, and I had the Atari 400, and I was so excited about it, learned about it. Really a groundbreaking computer at the time. Just really good capabilities as far as games and stuff. And so I learned all about it. Basic programming started with. And then I saw that people were programming in machine language, making these really cool games. And I said, you know, that's really not rocket science. Well, it's computer science, but if you just try to learn it, you can learn it. So I did. And I was able to learn assembler. Taught myself assembler. I like a challenge. And so what happened was, way back when, I was much more skillful and sharp, way sharper than now. Some of this stuff I don't really recall what I had written and learned, but I wrote this program in BASIC. I had it published in Compute magazines called Player Missile Magic, and the graphics, Player Missile capabilities of the Atari in those days were really cool, amazing stuff. But it was a little bit slow to make an arcade quality game in BASIC. So it needed help with machine language. So I learned that, and I wrote this pretty cool demonstration program. Actually, it's a helper for BASIC programmers to write arcade quality games. I just shot a video showing that I had made this game called Spellbound. If you check one of my recent videos, I wrote that for the Atari and in assembler. I don't have the source code, unfortunately, unless I dig it up. You know, as I said before, I dug up my 5 1/4 floppies from the old days, and I had them translated, or at least transferred to USB, and I was able to get my game and play it. I'm over the moon about seeing this game that I wrote over 40 years ago come to life again. It's not even half bad. But so this Player Missile Magic stuff, it's got 3 demonstration programs. The loader program loads the machine language routine into memory, and it really just runs in the background, as you can see. You load that, you run it. It's not really meant to be run alone, but it just runs in the background. And if you did run it, you'd see that you could continue to type in basic programs and stuff. But this is meant to work with BASIC. So let me just show you the BASIC. Let me show you how BASIC works on this Atari 400. Yeah, let me show you the 400. Actually, it's right there. Let me show you. Here's my setup. Let me show you my setup. USB keyboard plugged into the USB port on the 400, as well as the joystick. See right there? Here we go. It is tiny. It is tiny. Look at this baby. Look, this is my hand. Smaller than my hand. But here we got 4 joystick ports. I have one of them, the keyboard plugged in, and a USB game stick right in the back, HDMI, and USB-C power cord. Let me get to BASIC. All these games are really cool. Love this Miner 2049er, and then the Bounty Bob Strikes Back is also on here. O'Reilly's Mine is pretty cool. I always loved the 7 Cities of Gold. Remember that? Star Raiders 2, I wasn't always into that. Of course, the Asteroids is good. Capture the Flag. Caverns of Mars, really cool. If you get the firmware update, you will get Caverns of Mars on this. It's an extra game. Yeah, Henry's House, I believe, is really cool. I think it's like a Miner 2049er. And where's Bounty Bob Strikes Back? I don't see it. It's not on this? That's all right. It's on my USB stick that I did purchase separately. So anyway, let's get into basic. Come on. Where is it? Here it is. Here we go. All right. Let's go to basic. There it is. Hit the trigger. Press, I guess, home to start the game. It's not really a game. It's basic. Here we go. So let me just show you some of the. Let's have a quick basic tutorial, very quickly. I'm going to write a very quick program. Line 10. I'm going to say print in quotations. You'll notice when you start fooling around with this, the quotation marks is up at the 2. It's up at number 2. That's one of the transposing differences with the modern keyboard as opposed to the Atari computer. But all right, print. All right, hello world. All right, here we go. What did I do there? What did I do there? Start that over. Yeah, I hit the wrong thing already. All right, there we go. Hello world. That's line 10. When you hit return, basic registers the line. So if I do a list 10, list line 10, there you go. That's how this basic works. It's very cool. So all right, let's do line 20. How about, very simple, go to 10. So let me hit return. Now that line 20 is registered, now the total program, if I list it, it's there, 10 and 20. If I run it, RUN, it's going to go forever. Okay? Let me hit break. Here we go. See? Pretty cool. Let me list the program. There it is. There it is. Now, to save this, you could either save to the D drive and call it hello. See? Save hello. All right, so there it is. Now I'll type new to clear the memory of the current program. There we go, new. Just these few words you're learning programming in BASIC, Atari BASIC. There's list, no programs listed. So just to show that we have that loaded on the USB, the beauty of this, I'm going to now load like that. Hello. Now that should load it very quickly, and I can list it. Pretty cool. Now also there's another way of loading and saving. You can enter, no rather, you would list to the disk. That's another way of saving it. And then you can enter it. So you have list and enter, save and load. Either one of those. All right, so let's do a new. I believe, well, the reason for enter is that what you would do is, watch this. I'm going to enter my first demonstration program. So it's going to go PM Magic H for helicopter dot BAS for basic. There we go. All right. Takes just a few seconds longer when you do enter and list, because it's tokenized for some reason. But anyway, so here's my first demonstration program. Actually, it does have the loader for the machine language, also included on this listing. So I do not have to enter that. But if you wanted to do that, you could just save programs separately, or list them separately, load them individually, or enter them individually, and they would be added to what program is in memory already. Obviously, you would have to have totally different line numbers, otherwise they would overwrite the line, the lines. So here we go. Here is my first demonstration program. It's a helicopter. Now, what happened with this was, you have to type these in. This is, I'm going to leave a link to this issue of Compute Magazine from 1987, I believe. And they're type-in programs with data. Data and lines, manual lines that you have to type in. It's a little lengthy, not too bad though, but it's fun. It's a learning experience. You're going to learn how to program. It's so cool because you'll be able to save these and write your own games. This program that I wrote to help basic programmers, you'll be able to make some pretty cool games. As you'll see, I have three demonstration programs. One's a helicopter, one's a street scene demo. Looks pretty cool. Somebody can make a pretty cool game out of that. Just look at it. And this last one is an arcade demonstration with explosions, missiles, targets. You could really make a game out of that also. And just using my machine language loader, basic programmers can use it. It's just got a few parameters that you need to enter when you call the machine language routine. Basically, I'll tell you what it is here, right here. You'll see it in the article. There's what, seven or eight parameters. Ramp top is the start address of the player missile magic. Then you got X and Y position of player O, X and Y position of player 1, the height of the player, a flag to allow one joystick to control 2 players, the resolution, 1 or 2 line resolution. So those are the basics. You're going to use that to initialize your game and your players. So let me get you up to speed with this first demonstration. It's a helicopter, and when I typed it in, really didn't work that well. It's funny. You'll see that it's a little tedious typing in the numbers. If you have any numbers wrong, it's not going to really work. So you might a couple of times have to go through it. Be careful on the typing in. 8 looks like a 0 somewhat, so be careful on that. Also, I did see a couple of instances where, what is this character? It's a G? So be careful. There's probably a couple of G's in there. But the point about this helicopter demo was, at first it really didn't work right. And I'm reading the text that this article, all the programs are my programs. But they did redo my text, as I recall. So it's really not my text. They rewrote the text, but the helicopter program, it really wasn't working as it's described in the article. It says it's got missiles. There was no missiles. It said that I was using 2 players to simulate a shadow. And I didn't see any shadow. I'm saying, why would I say this even if it's not even really working? So, well, what happened was, either I made a mistake or they made a mistake, but the program wasn't really working right. The helicopter was there. You could move it, but no missile, no shadow. So I leave it up to you guys to figure it out and fix it. That's what I did. I had fun figuring out and fixing it. I'm sort of obsessive. I'm saying, first of all, it's my article. Let me see if I did it right. What the heck's going on? I mean, probably thousands or millions of people way back when typed this in and said, this isn't not what it's supposed to be doing. So anyway, let me just give you a couple of tips on that to fix it. on the parameters, on calling the machine language, you could fool around with the locations of the different players. In other words, just a little offset of the player 1 over behind player 0. You could make it look like a shadow. So anyway, I'll show you how I did it. The other thing was, for some reason, there's a flag that I have there that I set wrong as far as like enabling missile 0, which you need missile 0 to shoot missile 0 from player 0. So for some reason I didn't have that set right. So it's pretty obvious. You could see. Just fix that flag. You know, you'll read it in the article. So just a few tweaks and you'll get this helicopter thing to work. So let's run it. Here we go. Basic is a little slow. It's going to take a few seconds. Also, the limits on the screen, I had to tweak that because it was annoying. Because one of the players was going a little further than the other. And, you know, it didn't look like a shadow anymore. So I'm still waiting for this. So in other words, tweaking the boundaries, the position of the missile also, that other thing, that annoyed me. If you type it in just as is, and you get the missile enabled, you'll see the missile is visible. You don't want to see the missile visible only when you shoot it. So you have to move the missile just a bit so it's under the player. Right, here we go. See? Look at that. Right, we've got a shadow. Also, the other thing was, I had a black background. So even if I had the shadow working, you wouldn't see it in the black background. So I had to change the background color. I used set color 20 something or something like that. You'll see. You could change. There we go. Look, perfect. Nice. See, in computer science, you want things perfect. Look at that. Beautiful, right? Look at that. Now we got a missile. Look. Missile, diagonal missile even. Pretty cool, and this is basic. Look, the program's not even running anymore. The basic program's not even running anymore. Look at this. I could type something. Just amazing. All right, nice. All right. I don't have any sound on this right now. Okay. All right, so. Let's see if I still have this program. I hit F11. And yes, the program is still there. Okay, so let's go on to the next demonstration program. It is the street scene. And all these basic programs is using my Play Missile utility. It's in the article, it's called Program 1. And it's called Play Missile Magic Loader. Okay, so I'm going to type new. Now let's enter. Let's enter Play Missile Magic S for street scene dot basic. All right, let's see. It's taking a little while to load. So in this demonstration, I'm also using 2 players controlled by 1 joystick, but they're side by side so that we can have a bigger player. All right, here we go. Let's run it. Look at this little splash screen there. I believe the whole program's in, so we'll see if it works or not. In other words, I do have them listed separately, each demo, and then the major loader. You could type them in separately. That's probably a good idea. List them all separately, and then later on you can fix each one as needed. All right, here we go. Come on. It's going to be a street scene. At first, this didn't work. You really do have to, go through it. If you make mistakes and it's not working, you just have to, you probably just put too many letters or the wrong number, or Come on. There it is. Look at this. Ginny, you see this?
I don't want to be in it.
All right, you don't have to. Just look at my scenes, street scene.
Okay.
Look at this guy. Pretty cool. Look at this guy walking.
I know.
You got a subway.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Look at this.
All right, I'm in the bedroom.
All right. Just pretty cool. And you can make a game out of this somehow. I couldn't think of what you could do with it. You're using 2 players here. No, there's no missiles, obviously. All right, pretty cool. That's just amazing right there. Okay, let's go with the final demonstration. Here's this program. I'm just going to list it. Street Scene Demo. And you could stop it with Control 1. You could stop the listings at Control 1. Here's the player missile loader. It's not that. It starts at 20,000. 20,000 right there is player missile magic loader routine. And, all right, pretty cool. You know, in the future, we can work on more of this basic program. I'm going to do a list. I'm going to show you where the user, or I call it user, USR. I'm not sure what that stands for, but it calls the machine language routine. Let's see, where is it? There it is. It's line 260. X equal USR RAM top. And if you look at those numbers, well, this is not the helicopter one, but the top of memory, you see the line 260. Then you have XY position of player 0, player 1, and some other parameters there. Pretty cool, right? All right, let's hit break. Now let's hit new. Let's get the last demonstration going. Okay, enter. PMMAGIC A for arcade dot basic. Yeah, for some reason that didn't work. So it might be a load instead of enter. So you're going to get that because you have to load things that you've saved and you have to enter things you've listed. So if you get an error, you probably saved it. So I'm going to load PMMAGIC arcade dot, and of course that. Yeah, loads quicker when you do load save. Okay, let's see if everything's on this program. Here we go, arcade game demo. So you can see these are short games. I mean, these are short loops. If you look at it, there's the main program loop is 50 lines, 30 lines, 20 lines. Okay, so in my machine language, it's got collision detection and explosions. So let's do it. Let's see what it is. How many targets? I wrote this how many years ago? How many years ago? And of course, in the article, It's a lot of figures and descriptions on how I drew things. In this same magazine, there's other programs that you could type in. There's a play a missile creation tool. So anyway, this is mine. It's got important memory locations, all listed there. RAM, representation of RAM. The machine language parameters. It's all listed here. It's all really cool. All right, here we go. And here it is. I used a, look at that. Wow, pretty cool, right? Look at that. I thought it would turn, actually. Oh, it's not playing yet. That's right. Okay, I have to hit some kind of a button to start. So let's try that. There it is. Look at that. So I've got helicopter rotors spinning. And look, when I turn, helicopter turns, or is this a whirlybird? It's a whirlybird. So anyway, and we got targets coming by, and I can shoot. I'm going to shoot. There we go. Pretty cool. Let me turn up the sound a bit. Ooh. 0%. All right, let's start again. Start again. What happens? Jeez. Let's continue. How's that? Will that work? It did work. All right, for some reason, let's run this thing again. Let's try this again. How many targets? We'll go 7. Target speed, slow. Easy. Let easy. Okay. So, I'm not sure if I'm using vertical blank interrupts or display list interrupts here. I don't know. I do have other demonstration programs that I wrote, and I will in the future show you how to do that. VBIs and DLIs are really cool. I'll show you what you could do with those. You could really make, like I said, that arcade game that I wrote, Spellbound. You use all those tricks to make 4 players into 16 players if you choose, or many as you want. That's how Missile Command and Space Invaders were written. Using just these 4 players and 4 missiles, you could really do a lot of things with special effects like DLIs and VBIs. All right, let's start this game. And let's see if I have a collision. Let's see. Hold it. Ooh, watch out. That thing is predictable. Ah, pretty cool. Yeah. That's it. Wow. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Wow. Not bad, huh? Well, I'm going to leave the link to get this article. Very, very interesting. Youngsters out there, if you can get this Mini 400, you'll have BASIC built in. You could start programming, write your own check balancer, write your own, all kinds of things. In college, this is how I well, of course, watching programmers and playing with the Atari when I was younger was cool. But when I got to college, we learned other languages and stuff. I remember there were one challenge was write a program to figure out the Fibonacci numbers. I think I won that contest. But also I remember there was a contest way back when, I don't know if it was one of the computer magazines, to write a program for the Atari. I don't know if it was just Atari, but to simulate a screen of snow. I don't know if, you ulcers in the old days, if you didn't get a picture on your screen, you had snow on the screen. So I was able to do that, but I didn't win. Why didn't I win? I thought I did a good job. All right, look, in the future, we're going to do a lot more. We're going to leave a link for this Play a Missile Magic compute. And happy computing.